Pdhpe, You and the Profession by Zoe Heath, 11490981. This PowerPoint presentation discusses the topics of me and my experiences, the Pdhpe educator, and Pdhpe and the educator. Me and my Pdhpe experiences. From a very early age, I was immersed in sport, starting swimming lessons at the age of 2 and then gymnastics at 4. I believe that my mother thought that it was necessary for me to learn these basic skills. As the years went on, I continued with gymnastics and made quite a few friends. My sister and I would ride our push bikes around the backyard, pretending that we were professional BMX champions. After I had learnt to swim, I was enrolled in little athletics, which I wasn't interested in because at that stage in my life I was quite uncoordinated. I believe that my parents chose to immerse me in physical activity not only because of the health benefits, but also because I was able to make positive relationships with the other children. I attended a very small primary school of only 14 students. So first of all, there definitely weren't enough students for sport housing teams. And secondly, I understand that it must have been difficult for the teachers to cater for the different age groups and ability levels when they wrote their programs. As an infant, I remember going outside under the acorn tree that had just shed its leaves to play a game with the round, colourful parachute. It consisted of the students each grasping a handle and trying to keep the ball on the parachute. Friday afternoon was when sport was played, and it normally consisted of a school game of soccer, meaning everyone from kindergarten to year 6 played. Therefore, a lot of injuries occurred. Some variety of sports on Friday afternoons would have been beneficial, as different sports and activities provide the opportunities to practice a range of skills. Throughout primary school, we attended various sporting days, soccer and hockey gala days, cross-country, athletic carnivals and swimming carnivals. I always participated in these sporting days and I enjoyed most of them. As our school was so small, we combined with other small schools in the Bathurst district for these sporting events. I really enjoyed competing against the friends that I made at the swimming and athletics carnivals, as it gave each of us a boost in confidence when we would beat each other in the events. I won Junior Girl Champion at the Athletics Carnival and broke the high jump record. I made it to region for breaststroke but was disqualified, and I made it to Western for cross country. High school was very different to primary school in terms of physical activity, as there were a lot more sporting teams to consider joining and the variety of physical activity that gym lessons supplied. We had to get changed into casual clothes for PE, the boys and girls classes were separate a lot of the time, and there was a larger time allocation for physical activity. We had 5 physical activity classes compared to the 2 physical education classes a fortnight, in which we learnt about road safety, sexual education and development, and a range of other topics. At the beginning of high school, I competed in the athletics carnival, swimming carnival, cross-country, soccer and netball teams. This was due to my Pdhpe teacher encouraging me after analysing my efforts in class. However, by the end of high school, I wasn't too fazed if I competed in these sports or not, as my education and HSC became more important to me. High school sports brought a lot of fun times and great achievements, with me placing 9th in the 90-metre hurdles at the State Carnival when I was 15. After this, I stopped doing in-school sport and out-of-school sport, as my younger sister was achieving better in sport than I did, and my HSC became my main priority. Although my experiences of physical education and activity were not as pleasant at the start of my schooling compared to my experiences in high school, I believe that they have shaped my current attitudes towards Pdhpe. I understand that physical activity and education are vital to students throughout their schooling. However, it is the way that the educator immerses the students in the key learning area that will determine their positive or negative attitudes towards the subject. The attitudes and values that my high school teacher, Mrs. C, had has greatly influenced the way in which I intend on teaching PD. The PDHPE educator. The way in which my high school PDHPE teacher showed her motivation and perseverance suggests to me that all teachers, specifically PDHPE teachers, should be like her. The ideal PDHPE teacher is a role model to her students. Therefore, it is important that the way in which she looks and acts is the way she wants her students to be, therefore providing a scaffold. The teacher should have her hair tied back as it looks professional and because it can become a health and safety issue. For example, if you are playing soccer and you are running around with your hair flapping in your face and eyes, it makes it difficult to see what you are doing, therefore could cause an injury. The teacher should demonstrate the types of clothing and footwear that is appropriate to successfully complete the components of the physical activity. A polo shirt with a collar, shorts or tights and joggers are the most appropriate items of clothing for physical activity as they do not restrict the variety of movements. My idea of a PDHPE teacher's body type would be ectomorph, as it means that they have a thin, lean and small bone structure. However, this is my image of how a PDHPE teacher should look, but in reality it should not matter what body type the teacher has as long as they are participating and demonstrating to the students. A PDHPE teacher should demonstrate good posture in both the physical activities and physical education. This means discussing the procedures used in correctly lifting items to ensure no injuries occur. No matter what kind of teacher you are, positive attitudes and relationships with students are valuable because they allow insight into the students' lives outside the classroom. It allows for a mutual respect between peers and a safe environment to learn in. However, in order to successfully achieve positive relationships with the students, good communication skills are required. Graham, Hussey, Taylor and Werner, 1993, proposed that in terms of instructional events, the presentation of the instructional task is critical. The teacher must be able to select important information for the learner, organise that information and communicate it to the learner. Teachers should encourage the students and give positive feedback rather than negatively respond to a student. This in turn boosts a child's self-confidence and esteem. A teacher needs to participate in the activities to show that physical activity and education at all stages of life are important and that it can be enjoyable. A confident and competent educator would ensure that the students being taught had some prior knowledge of the skills required for the specific sport or activity that was about to commence. If students knew very little or the prior knowledge of the students varied significantly, it is important that the students complete an activity that requires them to learn the necessary skills. For example, if the students were about to play a lacrosse game, it would be essential that the students practice throwing, catching and trapping the ball. The research undergone by Rink 2003 states that if students are to learn a skill well enough to use it in a game situation, that sufficient time must be allocated for learning. At the end of the activity, the teacher should encourage the students to discuss and reflect on what they liked and didn't like about the lesson and how it could be improved. This helps the teacher prepare future lessons. It is absolutely critical that the teacher enjoys working with children and has reasonable skills in a wide range of physical activities to ensure that they are capable of catering for a wide range of students' skills and abilities. A PDHPE teacher must be able to plan appropriate lessons according to the age group and skill level of students being taught. However, these lessons should be challenging to the students to keep them occupied and enthused. A PDHPE teacher that explicitly demonstrates all or most of these abilities is committed to personal health and physical education in a way that is highly valued in the profession of education. PDHPE and educational settings, my position. Kirk et al. 1996 suggests that many schools' physical education holds a lower status than other school subjects. This inequity means that less time is allocated for PDHPE. I believe that PDHPE should be highly valued in the primary school setting as it improves quality of life, promotes participation, addresses a wide range of issues, both personal and community-wide, and provides foundations for further study. Students who understand and value themselves and others have more control over their own lives. Students can learn to value themselves and others through a range of activities where they get to know each other or even learn about the choices they each independently have. In turn, students are able to express their thoughts and feelings in numerous situations, such as what they thought healthy eating meant or what fitness and exercise means to them. Therefore, the teachers need to make sure that the students have the opportunities to make choices about their own lives. Schools can help students make informed decisions and actions about their own lifestyles. Therefore, the programs teachers create need to assist students in becoming aware of the processes involved in decision making. The skills of effective communication, interaction, decision making, and problem solving empower the students to take action leading to better health. It is essential that the students gain these skills and knowledge so that they can work towards a better health for themselves. Children develop physically, socially, emotionally, and cognitively at different stages. Therefore, I believe that it is important for the students to understand why this happens. In terms of growth and development, the teacher needs to demonstrate and explain to the students what is happening to their bodies, both physically and mentally. But at the same time, the teachers need to tread lightly to ensure that the students don't become embarrassed or feel singled out. Living and learning in a safe environment is a big factor in the development of children. Although the teacher cannot provide a safe environment at home, they can speak to the students about topics that relate to the home environment, such as secrets, safe and unsafe practices, safety near animals and machines, road and water safety. ACPA 1993 explains that physical education is any process that increases a child's ability and desire to participate in a socially responsible way in physical activity in forms of games, sports, dance, adventure activities, and other leisure pursuits. The way in which students are introduced to and experience physical activity can influence their skills, emotion, and attitude towards physical education. Therefore, it is important that the teacher explains to the students why exercise is important and the effects it has on their bodies both positively and negatively. Compared to the educator that I have outlined in the previous section, I am nothing like my idea of the ideal PDHPE teacher. This assignment has opened my eyes to the benefits of physical activity and education in the primary setting by allowing me to analyse my personal experiences and choices due to a change in attitude towards PDHPE. Tinning, Kirk and Evans, 1993, suggests that what students learn will depend on many factors, including their out-of-school experiences and the nature of the subtle interactions and communications in the classroom environment. They also express that if physical activity is or has been a positive feature of their lives, they seem more likely to teach physical education with their This relates to my experiences that I had on practicum, as my associate had had bad experiences of PDHPE, therefore relaying that negative energy to his students, resulting in little to no physical education and activities. In terms of teaching PDHPE in the K-6 content, I am not extremely worried, as there are many resources available to help me if I am unsure about something. For example, the New South Wales PDHPE syllabus, the Board of Studies New South Wales 2007, organises the content under the titles of active lifestyle, dance, games and sport, growth and development, gymnastics, interpersonal relationships, personal health choices and safety, which makes it easier to search for outcomes indicators and strands. I believe that teachers need to be able to plan appropriate lessons depending on the objective required. Resources need to be readily available, and they need to be able to think on the spot just in case something does not go to plan. This is conveyed by Gallahue and Donnelly, 2003, who state that teachers who are truly immersed in education spend considerable amounts of time poring over books and notes in order to design lessons that fulfill the needs of the children. Below are the references used throughout this PowerPoint presentation.